All right, what's going on, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the Bordello. It is a dreaded solo episode this week, folks. We have a big brain dump incoming here. Apologies for missing the episode of the pod last week. I will labor to not allow it to happen again. And as an apology, as restitution, I will be releasing a bonus episode this weekend for anyone who cares to make up for lost pods. There will be an additional episode this week only on the weekend, and this will be coming out at some point on Wednesday this week. Nothing can deter me from putting this episode out for the humble few listeners that do enjoy this podcast. Not even a dead laptop, which is precisely what I am in possession of right now, is a dead laptop, which is pegged at 2%, not charging, plugged in. Says service recommended, power adapter, battery is not charging. We have had this laptop for 6 long years. It has served us dutifully throughout its tenure as the main, I guess, the technological hub of the podcast. And it might be on its last legs, much like my car right now. I'm driving a very old car, 15 years old, 270,000 kilometers on it. The muffler blows out once a year. There's a real curse thing that happens when you have an old piece of tech or machinery or engineering that is not cheap to replace, but that is also less cheap to upkeep. But the upkeep is still not cheap. I'm kind of in the same spot right now with my car and my laptop. I've been driving my car on winter tires for the past year and a half. Last winter, last summer, this past winter, and now this summer. We're halfway through the summer, and I've still not gotten my summer tires changed because I just can't be bothered to. Because anytime you invest in the car, something else happens, right? The check engine light is on, and then it goes away. When you have a piece of technology for a long enough period of time, issues will arise and disappear without you even understanding what's going on. The check engine light will come on. You'll think, oh, I've got to get that checked out. Then you'll start the car the next day and the check engine light will be off. It's the type of way that you have to live on edge, I guess, if you're a person who doesn't want to spend money on unnecessary things, who's trying to, I don't know, just squirrel away money for the future, not sure of when it'll work out, how it'll work out. Like a lot of young people right now, I'm kind of in the same boat with this laptop. Sometimes I'll plug it in and it'll be charging, and other times I'll plug it in and it won't be. And I never know. I never know whether to get it fixed or not. But we will be powering through whatever technological impediments lie before us here today. And we've much to talk about here. We've much to talk about on the pod. We've not podded for like some 2 weeks. And okay, so a couple of things we need to get off the top here. I've been slacking. Like as a guy, I've been lacking. I've been slacking. I'm gonna labor to be a better man going forward. I'm going to look to take my appearance a little more seriously. I've been slacking for a very long time now. For a couple of years, I've really taken a more laxed approach to how I present myself to the world and how I dress and so on. But I've been bullied into wanting to care more about how I look by a Neapolitan tailor who owns a clothing store in Naples, which I'm happy to plug. It's called Eterno Napoli. And I mean, this store is intimidating, but it's invigorating at the same time. It's intimidating because the level is very high, the clothes are very expensive, but the level of clothes that they have are very high. And by that I don't mean high end. I mean in terms of like the quality of the clothes, that they're just necessarily well made and the thread count is optimal, or however you determine the quality of clothes. That's not what I'm talking about specifically. When I say they're high level clothes, what I mean is that the cuts of the clothes are designed for people who know how to pair accessories with their outfits, who know how to fold a handkerchief with their outfits, who know how to break an outfit. In Italian, there's a term called sprezzato. So if you'll have like cotton and linen, for example, of different colors, that'll be a broken outfit where you're kind of breaking fashion rules on purpose. It's always on purpose. Everything is done intentionally, you see. There's a guy who runs these stores named Luigi Lauro. And I mean, I can't stop watching this guy's stuff. It's basically what the guy does is he goes on Instagram to the world and posts clips of his outfits and makes me feel inadequate. And he should. I should feel inadequate. He has a right to do that. I've just accepted that this man is a better male role model than me. I look at this man and I say, that's a father right there. That's a man who handles his affairs. And it's not like many Italian men who have this real problem of overspending on clothes that they cannot and should not, that they cannot afford, that they should not be buying. Those guys exist. But if you kind of put outfits together very intentionally and you prioritize that as a key piece of your life, just how you build a wardrobe and how you pick out your outfits every day, and set aside enough time to put the outfit together, to steam the stuff, to make sure the creases are tight, I feel like it's no longer really irresponsible. At least it doesn't feel irresponsible, even if it might be fiscally irresponsible if you're overspending on these things. But there is a real kind of trick that you wind up playing on yourself, where if you dress a certain way and go out into the world, I mean, it's almost like you trick yourself into being more productive, I feel like, because you walk around like a guy who looks like he's the man. And I feel like you trick other people into taking you more seriously. And I mean, let's just pull up one of this guy's videos here. My favorite outfit that he's put together is a tri-colored kind of suit t-shirt combo. And now it's very homoerotic, but this is just an example of Italians doing it better. Like, God damn it, this is me in my final form. This is anyone who listens to this in their final form. This is what anyone should strive to look like most of the time. Most of us don't have the balls to pull this off. Most of us don't have the time to. Most of us don't have the discipline to put aside financial resources, time, organizational resources to look this way. And I've been potting in shorts, man. I've been doing stand-up in shorts. I feel like I need to start conveying a more strong, silent type, demeanor and aura. I think people will take me more seriously as a result. I think you need to own it. I don't think if you do it in a way that's assured, people will look at you and say, well, he's compensating. No, it should just feel so natural. Like, oh yeah, Sam's better than me because, I mean, look at him. He's wearing a double-breasted suit. Let me pull up one of the outfits that this guy puts together regularly. If you're listening to this, you could check in on YouTube, where you can kindly subscribe and like or comment. Leave a comment telling me to go kill myself. It doesn't really matter. You're free to do any of that, but you could do both. Frankly, you could tell me to kill myself, and you can. I won't do it, but you could tell me to if you're so inclined. If you want to try to bully me into it. But yeah, if you want to get the video component or the visual component, you could check us out on YouTube, where you can also leave a nasty comment. Optional.
Panna, tabacco e blu. Combinazione a tre colori. Maglia effetto spugna.
Unbelievable.
Pantalone in lino tabacco.
Tabacco. No belt, ever. I mean, incredible. I can't stop watching this.
Jacques Solovier. Casio vintage. Jacques Marimage.
That's where he gets me every time. Is when he turns to the camera and the glasses appear out of nowhere.
Shopping bag bicolore in suede. Fatta a mano in Italia.
Fatta a mano in Italia.
Qui il livello è alto ed è strettamente riservato agli uomini e tassativamente vietato ai ragazzini.
Snap at the end is what sells me on it. I mean, I need to get my act together. I didn't put out a goddamn podcast last week. And yeah, there was flooding in my mother's house and I had to come help her. And yeah, I've been running around like a chicken with no head on. And yeah, my computer doesn't work. The audio of this pod might not even see the light of day. We're working with a really weighted vest here. However, I really don't think there's any excuse to not try to look this way. I'm turning my life around after this. After having discovered this guy, I need to start putting together full proper outfits to a podcast. I think that might help people take me more seriously. At one point, when the video ends, he says, "This is high level. Qui il livello è alto." Here the level is high. Make no mistake. A high level of execution. Like he's describing a gymnastics routine at the Olympics. I mean, and then he says, he always ends off his video by saying that it's an outfit. Queste è tassativamente vietato ai ragazzini. It's strictly forbidden for little boys. Qui il livello è alto. Here the level is high. Ed è strettamente riservato agli uomini, strictly reserved for men, tassativamente vietata ai ragazzini. Strictly forbidden for little boys. I mean, it's unbelievable. He said strictly twice, but he used different words, I think. He's even got like an expansive vocabulary. He said it's strictly reserved for gentlemen, strictly reserved for little boys, but he didn't say strictly twice. He used two different words in the Italian language. So the guy's got away with words. And I think when you dress this way, it just creates an aura, man, about you. Like right away, that line there, okay? This is for men, not for little boys. Like, that's the line that he says before he cucks me and fucks my wife. You know what I'm saying? He just goes, "You're a high-level woman. This is a high level of difficulty. I'm going to stick my thumb in your ass now. And you're going to like it. You're not going to scream. Hey, you got to be a gentleman to pull this off. You cannot be a little boy." It's unbelievable stuff. Truly, Italians do it better. We need to be reminded of that. Italians do it better is the theme this week on the pod. By the way, I want to go back here to when he anyway, I can't fast forward. Christ, I'm watching this on my computer. At one point, he jumps into his moccasins, right? He's describing the brand name or stating the brand name, which is a French brand name, but he's saying it in an Italian accent. And at that point, like, you're almost crossing this threshold that is so gay that he's the straightest man ever when he goes, Jacques Solovier, and jumps into moccasins, okay? Barefoot, with like tiny little gay socks. It's so gay, it's straight. Then he turns to the camera wearing clear, translucent sunglasses from a brand called Jacques Marimage. And he does this with his finger. What is this, dude? This. Jacques Marimage. Like this little twist, that's like your pussy is tight. We're going to unscrew your pussy. Jacques Marimage. He's wearing two brands named after a man named Jacques. Jacques Solovier, Jacques Marimage. I own 0 pieces of clothing from a man named Jacques. Now, again, this appeared on my algorithm. And I think that should be a message to me that this is how I should be dressing. I should take the message from the universe. It clearly thinks that this is what I'm interested in. It's right. I felt a little ashamed watching this, but I need to start executing higher level outfits. I think that's one of the keys to faking it until you really do become the man that you're aspiring to be. And it's the fact that, again, the fact is, I suspect a lot of my friends might think this is the type of shit I'm getting in my algorithm. I should send this to my other friends. Most guys will watch this and say, I mean, who is this guy? I mean, this guy's he makes me feel inadequate, but I can't stop watching him because he's like trying to give you a lesson. And yeah, he's trying to sell you something, okay? He's trying to sell you la bella figura, stile italiana, all that shit, or stile italiano, whatever. See, that's another thing. I've been burping on pods lately. No more burps. This man's a gentleman. He would never do such a thing. He might, but you wouldn't know when you look at him because he's combining tabacco, Panna, P-A-N-N-A, which is cream. It's basically white, but it's a little offset white. Panna, like the gelato flavor, okay? And blue. Not blue, blue, with the soft L, blue. Very different, okay? Blue is blue. Blue is blue, like with the soft L is maybe a dirtier shade of blue, okay? So, like if you design a blazer that is made of linen and it's blue with the soft L. I'm going to actually make that distinction going forward now, okay? And so blue is not a pastel. It's more of like an azzurro, but it's not as highlighter bright. It's much more subdued. Everything about the man's outfits and accessories are incredible. At one point, he got me. He put together an outfit and he talked about his shoes, the way he pronounces penny loafers. I mean, just look at this. Here we go. Here's another one. Here we go. I like the way he shoots his cuffs and his collar as well. Listen to this one. How incredible is this?
Elegante ma particolare. Camicia button down con righino sottile. Abito nocciola.
Every color of outfit he wears is based on a gelato flavor. Nocciola. No belt, ever. Pleats. What am I doing with my...
Tassel loafers.
Tassel loafers. There we go. Every time he pronounces a shoe, I lose my mind. Penny loafers. Tassel loafers. I'm going to have to start wearing suits everywhere.
Per l'orologio Omega Deville Vintage.
Here's the thing, okay? And by the way, I speak French quite well. I'm going to pronounce all my French brands like him in Italian now. Because if you have to sit down and put together enough time to put an outfit like that together, you've got to wake up earlier. You've got to get your shit together. You understand? It's expensive. You've got to save money. You've got to put money aside. Okay? Maybe if I start wearing tassel loafers, my car will start to work. Maybe my fucking muffler will stop shooting out. Okay? Every 6 months if I start wearing tassel loafers. Because if you wear tassel loafers, you should be driving an Alfa Romeo, okay? Not what I'm driving. These guys all sound like porn stars too. I mean, they're just better than you, man. Italians do it better, okay? Italians, I know they elected a far-right leader recently who probably wants to put Italian pride before anything else, and that is seen by some to be a dangerous idea. I understand that. But Italians really do it better. And I'll say, I'm not saying like, I'm not Lil Mo Mozzarella out here, okay? I'm not being like Lil Mo, hey, how you doing? I'm Lil Mo Mozzarella. I'm Italian. How you doing? Fucking, who I saw a video of him getting pulled aside by like a man on the street dude. And he asked Lil Mo, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm in New York, you got to have two tree incomes. What do you do? What are your incomes? You got to have your business, So the man does nothing. I mean, right until he was just a guy screaming, how you doing? Like, who the fuck even knows what he was doing? Seriously, how you doing? I don't know. How are you doing? What are you doing, Lil Mo Mozzarella? No one knows who the fuck you are. Nobody knows nothing. Nobody gets hurt. That's what I feel like. That's all this guy ever says. How you doing? Nobody moves. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody knows nothing. Like, so he just parlayed that into being a retard on camera. And, whoever watches that should feel inadequate when watching Men from Italy. And I'm not. I'm not a man from Italy. I'm not. I'm from this side, okay? I'm from North America, but I'm trying. I'm going to make more of an effort. This man is me in my final form, and I cannot wear as many tracksuits as I want to wear. I have to avoid the tracksuit. I've got to be very selective about what I wear going forward now. Okay, Italians really do it better. They are great at selling an image of something. La bella figura is a term, okay, which refers to the need to constantly uphold one's appearance at all times in public. Okay, basically, it's all about keeping appearances. Okay, la bella figura. It's like la bella figura is the reason why, like, I'm mad at the Jews right now. Okay, the Jews bury people in like 2 days when they die. A Jewish friend of mine lost a relative I found out the guy fucking died the day of the funeral at night because the Jews moved too quickly. It's a nightmare for me. I gotta fucking, I want to go there. I mean, yeah, part of it is you want to you want to support the guy emotionally. You want him to, be aided through the grieving process by hopefully your presence. But I think that's a little self-important, to say, who the fuck am I, right? I'm going to come to your funeral and I'm going to make you feel better. Like, I don't think I'm that special. I don't think I'm there to make you feel better at all. I mean, if I do, then great. I don't know why. That's just maybe more of a personal thing where I don't really know why anyone would want to see me. If it makes them happy, great. But I don't go around thinking that I'm going to bless any room I go into. It's more of like an appearance thing. It's like, yeah, you got to go. You got to go. You got to keep up appearances, At least some of the time at these funerals. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some funerals where you genuinely feel bad for a person. When you actually have, like, deep pain and you want to go be there for them because you don't know what else to do. You're like, man, I feel awful. I want to be there to support you. That's fine. But across the board, for all funerals, where that is not always the case, okay? It is. Let's make that clear. You don't always necessarily want to go to a funeral to support the person, emotionally. Sometimes you don't give a fuck, right? If it's someone's uncle, you're like, okay. I think you're good. I don't think you need me here, I don't have a ton of pain for you. Everyone loses uncles. You're going to be all right, big guy, We're all going through that shit. I lose an uncle a year, It sucks and I deal with it, But in cases like that, you're going for appearances. There are times, if someone loses a brother, if a parent loses their son, if somebody uses their father at a young age, like that's very upsetting, okay? It's very fucking upsetting. You wanna go help, help the grieving process, try to distract them. I get that. But a lot of the time, when you're going to a funeral, it's a chance to show that you're a good person. It's a chance to show, hey, I care about you. It's really just, there's kind of a selfish element to it sometimes, right? Where you want to just go there. Basically, with the Jews are like the highest level of difficulty when it comes to funerals because you got to be really on the ball. If you show up to a Jewish guy's funeral, okay, or to a Jewish family member's funeral, the people there know that you're on the ball and that you really care. If you miss that ball, that's okay, all right? There are other ways to support the person and show that you care about them and hopefully try to get them to get over what's going on. But it's a very impressive nod, for you to go to the actual funeral because you need to be on the ball. You need like fucking push notifications, okay, of the dead to know who's died in the Semitic community. So bella figura, right? You got to keep up appearances at all times. Hey, did you hear that Anthony didn't go to that guy's funeral? It's a tough look. It's about just doing shit so you don't get doxxed almost. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you do want to go to a funeral because you think that it's needed. But other times you don't particularly want to go, but you don't want to not go. Because if you don't go, you know that people will look at you and say, ma che figura che ha fatta, Nice job fucking dishonoring your name. Bella figura is very important. It starts with, how you dress but your style as well. I think I got to manage my hair a little more, man. I've been putting more product in my hair. It's the first time I haven't had product in my hair in like a week. And so no mullets. You go for the timeless. You got to go for the timeless, man. I've been hanging around too many degenerates. I need to be more of a leader in my own mind. I must lead by example for myself. You know what I'm saying? I must not fall into the trap of doing the easy thing and complaining. None of you should. It's not good. Okay? Do what the Italians do. They do it better. They sell ideas so fucking well. They sell the idea of la bella figura like your life depends on it. Like their life depends on it. Yeah, I mean, Italians are very good at selling the dream. They're good talkers. Action, some of them, but a lot of them not necessarily, right? If they were action-based, then the country would be in a better state. It's actually kind of turning around a little bit. I think it's becoming a stronger military power and a stronger economic power in Europe slowly through what appears to be good governance. Some might argue, but for years leading up to that, it had been argued that there was mismanagement, widespread corruption, and so on. The Italians have not often been the best when it comes to putting together, just putting shit into action. You know what I'm saying? But they're good at philosophizing stuff. They're good at idealistic concepts, right? They like to debate. They like to talk a lot, and they like to look good while doing it. Because again, much of Italian culture is actually down to these simple, often not productive, sometimes productive, but often not productive, just tendencies. Okay, so la bella figura, okay, could be kind of productive because you need to keep up appearances in a way that actually means you take care of yourself. So that could be good, but also you need substance. You can't just look good, right? You know what I'm saying? Some people take it to a really cheap place, okay? So I would argue that Luigi Lauro, who's all in on sartorial, tailoring and so on, knows what he's doing. He knows how to put an outfit together, and he knows the classics and what should and shouldn't be done. But you compare that to what a lot of people in Italy will now do, where bella figura just means buy something that says, insert brand name. It's rather cheap. So it can, bella figura can kind of cheapen things. And it can cheapen your look, ironically. So it can actually have a counterbalancing effect where if not done correctly, you could actually have an opposite effect on yourself where you're making a fucking brutta figura, So there's it's a real delicate balance, but Italians like to, put a name to things like that. Il dolce far niente is another one, the sweet art of doing nothing. Sit around on a beach for 2 weeks in August. We shut down for the whole month of August. Ferragosto, today, tomorrow, whenever this podcast is, coming out. Ferragosto, an entire day of sitting around doing nothing on the beach. Where you're eating stuffed pizza and sitting down in the sun. Like literally a day to indulge in all your vices. Get drunk, smoke, sit down, don't move. Do not move. By God, don't fucking move. Hands up, freeze, don't move. Where you are. Bust a nut. That's it. just all the vices, all the mortal sins. Gluttony, lust, sloth. Boom. Do them all in one day. Dolce far niente. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. We're all going to die anyway. Sit around. Do nothing. It's Sardinia. It's the summer. But so they do a very good job of selling those ideas. And everyone knows Italians are melodramatic. It's one of the things they do best is argue, but also act. There's opera comes out of Italy, okay? Opera's from Italy. Italian cinema was often very, dramatic. Even when, after World War II in the 50s in Rome, De Sica and Pasolini and, Fellini were all making these neo-realist films, okay? The acting was still very dramatic. It was realistic because the people spoke like real people, but real people in Rome at the time where the shit was shot spoke very dramatically. And so it was realistic, but it was still very dramatic. And that's where we're seeing what happened, with Angela Carini. Okay? Angela Carini is a sly little furbacchione fox. Okay? Angela Carini is a female amateur Italian boxer whose name you'll have heard in the last 2 weeks because she fought what everyone thought was a man in the Olympic Games. And I get that the Olympics are a scam and we shouldn't be paying attention to them anyway, okay? By paying attention to the Olympics, you're falling into the trap of following events that you don't normally care about. And you're enabling them, the IOC, the Olympic Games, right? You're enabling them to continue to, sell marketing rights to corporations and make a ton of money as a result. And, put these fucking games on and basically not pay the athletes anything. Apparently, the respective Olympic committees of each nation pay out according to performance, but apparently the Olympics do not. The Olympics are having these fucking amateur athletes, okay, some of whom work at Home Depot, okay, to make ends meet. I remember there was an ad when I was a kid of like Canadian Olympic athletes that were working at Canadian Tire. Oh, like a fucking a department store or a convenience store, like a massive chain store where you could get it's basically a hardware store. It's kind of like it's a hardware store where you could buy skates and chips, okay? They were like advertising it saying, yeah, we're proud to support the Canadian Olympic team. These are our proud athletes. Here he is, fetching a shoe size for this 7-year-old. You know, so I get that the Olympic Games are kind of fucked up, okay? And by the way, I think that guy should be working at Canadian Tire because he throws javelin. Okay, that's not really a skill that's valuable in the marketplace. It's not captivating enough to be able to do that all the time. It's not football where every week you want to watch that. It's not baseball where you could turn it on every night and it's compelling. It's not. It's javelin throw. So the Olympics are a bit of a sham. But there's, you know, I mean, this story still kind of rocked the world. Where this Algerian boxer, it was alleged, Imane Khelif, was a man. Because apparently the International Boxing Commission, or whatever the hell it was called, the IBC, I don't even know. There's so many different commissions in boxing, it's hard to know. This is boxing's issue, by the way, is that they just have a bunch of different corruptible organizations that have no integrity whatsoever. So you never know who's telling the truth. You never know if there's like a universal accepted, agreed upon, account of facts that all the commissions can just agree around, because there's several commissions. You never know who's accredited to actually render judgment on anything to do with like sporting merit, drug testing, so on. But it was alleged that like a year ago, this bitch was undergoing like testosterone tests, I guess baseline gender tests or whatever the fuck. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I guess it makes sense if you're going to compete against women. They ran gender tests on this bitch and like some Taiwanese woman, and they determined that her testosterone levels were so high she had to have XY chromosomes. Now, here's the thing. Apparently, the tests are completely anonymous, or the results of the tests are anonymous. A representative from, I think, this organization, the IBC, or whatever the fuck it's called, the International Boxing Commission, or the International Boxing Organization, whatever the hell. Again, who even knows what they're called? There's like 12 of these organizations in the world. But whichever organization, banned this bitch from and I think, by the way, calling her a bitch is exactly what she would want right now, because it's been alleged that she's a man. And if I'm saying she's a bitch, she's a woman, and I'm calling her this bitch, that's because that's a term of endearment in this case. That's a respectful term, actually. That's me respecting her sex or gender, apparently. So this bitch got banned from an international boxing tournament because she apparently failed like a testosterone test. They said she had high levels of testosterone and it indicated that she had XY chromosomes. Now, we don't actually know that that's the case. It was speculated. We could do with we could really do with a press conference right now, okay? They would just come out and say exactly what the tests were that she underwent. But they wouldn't do that. They just said, we ran the tests, we're confident she's a man. That's pretty much what they said. So, without telling us in detail why. So I guess we're left to assume that it's XY chromosome. If that's the case, okay, I guess it's a dude, but she don't have balls and she has a pussy. Then what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, she's from Algeria, so they could have no clue who the hell she is or what the hell she is. She's not transgender. Initially, I got duped. The day this happened, I thought it was a trans dude, okay? Or someone who was born a man who was like posing as a woman, okay? Turns out, best case, okay? Or I guess worst case scenario. Yeah, I guess this would be worst case scenario. Like worst case scenario, this was a person with an intersex condition or something to that degree. It might have been a person who was kind of literally gender ambiguous. I think born with maybe, I don't know if they were hermaphrodite or if they might have had lady parts but had a weird chromosome situation. And apparently that is a thing in medicine that exists. It's a very rare case. Now, if this lady does have XY chromosomes, you got to have a division for her, right? She won the gold medal in her weight class and she kind of dummied everyone. Now, again, if she just has high testosterone, but it's a woman, hey, bitch, you won the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron James probably has higher testosterone than I do. You know what I'm saying? He's a better basketball player than me. I'm sure he could power lift more than I could, right? He's a bigger guy. I'm sure he naturally, at 27, when he was my age, probably had higher testosterone than me. I would assume, right? If he didn't, then and I have higher testosterone than him, then all right. What's the big deal? People have different levels of testosterone. That's not the end of the world. People have different levels of estrogen, I'm sure. There are a lot of female athletes that don't exactly look like they're a fertile breeding ground for twins, So, and some of those ladies fuck shit up. They dummy other women in sports. But if they're women, they're women. Who gives a shit? But so we don't know if this is a case of, her kind of being in between, having like male, like biological male characteristics, which would mean she would have to participate in some kind of, separate division for the freaks, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? Much like you have the Paralympic Games, you have the Freak Olympics. But the point is we don't really know whether this lady was a man or a woman. It seems now like it was an entirely, misconstrued story where like she's just kind of like a really like manly looking, woman. And she's fighting Angela Carini a couple of weeks ago, who's an amateur Italian boxer from Naples. And that's an important detail. Angela Carini is from Naples, and Naples is it's kind of like the capital of Italian behavior. Rome is the capital of Italy in terms of politics. It's historically the capital of kind of Europe in some ways. Naples is the capital city of Italian behavior. When you think of stereotypical Italian behavior, it's Naples. Naples is the capital of southern Italy. If there were one, it would be Palermo or Napoli. Naples. It's arguably Naples, and they're great actors. They're great fucking actors. And this lady, leading up to the fight, is being led to believe that this is a trans guy. That this is a trans dude. And after 46 seconds, she gets punched. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if a lady punches me in the face, it's going to hurt me. Okay? I'm sure it wouldn't feel good. I'd be able to take it, I'm sure, but I don't think it would tickle, So if it doesn't feel good, right? Causes pain. Maybe then you just start to panic. You go into fucking flight mode where you say, must get out of here. And she did. She put on a whole song and dance routine where she, feigned injury and said, I can't do it. This is unfair. And she started crying in the ring. And here's the thing. This lady, okay, Angela Carini she got paid out by the Italian Olympic Committee as though she won a gold medal. Are you fucking telling me that nobody came to her and said, hey, do what you can. We got your back. Regardless, you're getting paid. And she thought, well, why put myself in harm's way? I could probably, if I make enough of a fucking show of this, right? This bitch is taller than me. She's stronger than me. She's got higher testosterone level than me. And I got public favor on my side. Everyone's mad at her. Hey, she got offered a Jake Paul undercard fight that'll presumably remunerate her very handsomely. So I think she might have known what was at stake, and she thought, hey, it's time to cash in. She's a Neapolitan woman. Are you going to tell me that a lady from Naples wasn't able to sell the... Dude, she just played an operatic... she might as well have been singing a soprano tune from Pagliacci, okay? By... Is it Puccini or Rossini? Whoever wrote that opera. I mean, she might as well have literally, after she got punched in the face, I would have preferred if Angela Carini, the only thing she could have done that would have made me respect her more, as she was trying to sell the idea that she's fighting this dude and it's an unfair fight and you must give her sympathy and you must ban this bitch from the tournament so that she, Angela Carini, could advance to the next round. The only thing she could have done to impress me more would have been if she had just come out and started going, Il cazzo! Jesus. Il cazzo! Lo vede il cazzo! I can't even do it. Just imagine me. My God. Bro, Angela Carini gets hit in the face and she goes, Staminchia! Staminchia! Oh. I'm just going to do it in a baritone voice. Imagine this in a soprano voice, okay? Staminchia! Ecco il cazzo del marocchino, ecco sto cazzo di sto marocchine merda, mi raccomando, voglio, mi segno morto, sono pugilista, ma segno morto, ma che dramma. Chissà armi merda, ma non ci credi. Io vedo il cazzo, ma non vedete il cazzo. Dude, I would have liked it if she'd like carried a tune. Would have been more iconic, because now she's made to look like a fucking mug, you know? She really thought, dude, when she went down and cried, she thought, that's it, all I gotta do is sell this. I was born for this. I was born for this. Dude, she could take a punch, dude. She boxes, all right? There are tougher Neapolitan women who have never fought anyone. They just sit around making fucking pasta patata all day. And they could fucking take I don't know, take a fucking shoe to the back of the head. I'm sure, I'm sure her grandmother hit her, harder with a weapon maybe. A belt, a spoon, who the fuck knows? I don't know, man. It's not like she hadn't been hit before. I think she just thought, let's sell this. Honest to God, based on the rumors, okay, every person was kind of telling her, I'll bet in her circle, people were saying, you sure you want to do this? You really want to go fight this guy? And she thought, yeah, my dad, because apparently her dad died before the Tokyo Games, and in all her posts, she's like one of these like really dramatic Italian ladies that like posts like pictures of her, kissing her father on the mouth. One of those Southern Italians. That's a thing. Like in Southern Italy, there are people that will kiss their children on the mouth until like forever, and this was her. I stalked her story. She's got pictures of her kissing her father on the mouth. She's like a 23-year-old woman, okay? Like it's no longer appropriate to do that. She might be, until the end, she might have still been taking baths with the guy, okay? Apparently her father was sick at the end in the hospital from what it looked like. She might have been fucking jumping in the bath with him, okay? She might have been giving him a sponge bath and fucking rubbing herself down, for all I know. Who the fuck knows, dude? Her father up until the end might have still like, her father up until the end might have still been like bending her over and washing her ass for her, okay? She would post like, in an interview after the fight, she's crying to him, Babbo, ti amo, Babbo. And I think that in her mind, she thought, all I've got to do to honor my father is show up and fight this dude. That's it. And once the fight began and she realized she wasn't going to win, she just shut down. And then it all came to her. That's honestly, she's just a Mediterranean woman at the end of the day. Everything's drama, so it doesn't go there. Yeah, she's a really tough broad. Like she fucking is a great boxer. I think she comes from a boxing family. Her brother boxes. I looked all this up, man. I think her father was like her coach, and she's clearly like well versed in the sport. It's not a sport for slouches, but at the end of the day, like it's just like when it's like when you do anything to like a Mediterranean woman, they'll just cry. It's all they've got, The waterworks come out and they just they start accusing you of fucking. They start accusing you of just being an asshole, man. That's the move she went with. The move she went with was, I'm just gonna cry and say this guy's an asshole. Literally, dude. That was her only move. But I think she thought, if I go into the ring and fight this guy, because she might have thought this is a guy, right? That was all the rumors were saying, right? Going into that event, like for days leading up to it, people were like scared for her, and what I didn't get was actually the fact that like this Algerian, we'll call her a lady boy, but she's probably a lady from what it sounds like. But this Algerian lady boy, like, had lost 9 fights before, so it probably is a woman, right? Like she probably is just a broad with like manly, with manly features, and or like a couple of weird things that kind of deviate from the norm, I guess. But like, she's lost 9 amateur fights to women before. It's possible to beat her. She won like 2 or 3 other fights en route to winning the gold medal, I believe. So it would have been possible. Like, it totally would have been possible to hang in there with her, right? Like, it's a really tough look if you just get into the ring for 46 seconds and you decide to get out because it hurts too bad. And then everyone else who fights this lady in the tournament can, power through and do what they're meant to do. But I'll bet you, going into it, she probably, Carini, just thought, I'm going in to fight this dude. That's what everyone is saying. And it like psyoped her. Okay, so you become paranoid. You think to yourself, I probably shouldn't be doing this. I'm getting sent to the slaughterhouse right now. I was scared for her. Like, I almost woke up at the, literally, dude, like, I don't wake up early. I almost was like, dude, I've got to wake up early this morning. I think the fight took place at like 7:30 Eastern time where I live. And I thought to myself, I'd better wake up. I'd better wake up for this. Yeah, it's at 7 a.m, but I gotta wake. I gotta see this, dude. And some Arab tranny's gonna kill a fucking Neapolitan woman live on television. I don't want to miss this. This is incredible television. And there's a chance that she wins, is what I was thinking, because I thought the smart money said bet the Italian at like 8-1 odds or whatever it was, 10-1 odds. Fucking who knows whatever the odds were at. Because I thought, well, clearly she has a 50-50 shot. This lady who she's fighting has lost before. Like, if the Algerian is a man, I'm thinking, well, it's clearly not a man like, it's not a man like me, you know what I'm saying? Like, we do have different physique. Like, so I was thinking, like, maybe there was a shot. But she, psyched herself out. The media psyched her out before it, to be honest. But I like the way that she sold it, and she got her money. It's very admirable. And I like the fact that she just immediately started crying when it was over, because that's like a real reminder that, again, I don't even know why I said that's like a Mediterranean woman move. It's probably just most women ever. I guess I just feel like an Asian lady might just kind of like just shed one tear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this Asian woman who's going through like a tough personal like family thing, and she just doesn't cry about it. Like, sometimes she'll allow herself to shed a tear. She'll allow herself to have a moment where she like schedules crying, basically. So I do think the different cultures deal with it differently, all right? I don't know that they're crying as much in Norway or Estonia, okay, as they are in Mediterranean Europe, where they can let it fly a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm saying, Like, I really do wonder, like if this was a Russian woman, okay, fighting this Algerian, this Algerian gender ambiguous person, would the Russian have powered through? I would suspect so. I really would. I really would, because the Russian the Russian fighter, the Russian lady fighter is definitely not kissing her father on the mouth still. It's a harder, colder culture. If you're used to kissing your father on the mouth, okay, but till the age of 22, 23 years old, I'm sorry, you're gonna cry when you get hit by what you think is a man. Like, but it was a nice moment though, where like you're just reminded that this is a different, it's a different thing we're watching here. These are women's sports, not to be that guy that just shits on women's sports and is like, oh, it's not the same thing. But like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like just to say, yeah, this poor girl, she just got hit by this guy who probably hits like a truck, or this girl who hits like a guy, and she just cried. Like, that kind of pulls the layer back, that pulls the blinders back a little bit, where you go, oh yeah, this is a different sport we're watching here. Like, this, even if fucking, Khelif, the Algerian boxer, is technically a woman, she is kind of built like different, that is there's no way that lady's getting there's no way that lady is getting I don't think she's providing oral sex to men. She just doesn't have that look about her. She really doesn't have that look about her. She would say Alhamdulillah, after her fights. So fuck, like, she basically, honestly, she kind of looked like, what she looked like? Imane Khelif kind of looks like a 15-year-old like Algerian boy who loves Ronaldo. That was kind of the energy. Like, it wasn't a full-formed man, but it was kind of like a teenage, like prepubescent or like sort of post. It was like a mid-pubescent Arab teenager, you know? That was sort of the look she had. She looked like Imane Khelif looks like a North African 15-year-old teenager who loves Cristiano Ronaldo in the year 2010. That's what she looks like. She's not a full-on dude. She doesn't have a beard. Like, listen, this is an Algerian woman, okay? If that was a real guy, if she was a real dude, you would know. Okay? She would be going bald. Okay? She would have Zidane's hairline. She would have the same hairline as Zinedine Zidane and the same beard as Karim Benzema. Okay? She is not a man. But, you know, if I saw her wearing a hijab, I would look at her and say, why is that teenage boy wearing a veil? You know what I'm saying? The way she moves around. Honestly, she should just go full like fundamentalist Islamic now. She should just wear a full niqab. She should wear a niqab. She should cover every part of her body except for her eyes. Just so that for the rest of her time, no one doubts that she's a woman. That would actually be the best move for her going forward, is to move to a place like France, okay? Don't go back to Algeria. Mind you, well, I was going to say don't go back to Algeria because they might give her a hard time, you know, because I feel like they're a little more like homophobic there, or, you know, intersex phobic, whatever the fuck she is. But also, like, the Algerians, because the Algerians are so homophobic, they can't even admit that she's probably an intersex freak. They can't admit that she should be in the freak show Olympics. They can't admit it because the Algerians, okay, are one of the few people out there that have more pride than Albanians, okay? Algerian people have a chant that goes 1, 2, 3, viva l'Algérie. 1, 2, 3, viva l'Algérie. They think they're the best, and they leave Algeria constantly. That is a telltale sign that you're a country that thinks you're the best. When you have people that leave like motherfuckers, okay? If you have people that flee your country and go to establish themselves in a new country, in a Western country, start a new life, they'll always look back to, it's why Italians in, you know, the States, it's why Italian Americans kind of still talk about being Italian and why Italy's the best. It's why this podcast exists, you know, where I talk about Italian shit all the time as an Italian, like, you know, outside of Italy. So, you know, when you're an Algerian in Europe, right, and there's tons of them in France, all they do, and there's tons of them here in Canada as well, all they do is talk about how great Algeria is and Algerian pride and so on and so forth. So Algerians have this like weird pervasive culture of just talking about how great Algeria is, and they're too proud. They think, yes, Algerian lion, yes, she's a warrior. they can't admit that she looks like she's a 16-year-old Ronaldo stan. They cannot admit it, because doing so would diminish her accomplishment. So maybe she could actually continue to live in Algeria, because the cognitive dissonance in Algeria is so great. And by the way, she could be a woman, by the way, who was like, you know, falsely slandered. She would do well to actually, you know, take a real fucking proper scientific test and post the, you know, private results publicly by her own volition. That would be, you know, great if she really wanted to shut everyone up. But until then, everyone kind of, I think, is going to assume, yeah, who knows? There's a chance that there's something weird going on, you know? But the Algerians will never admit that. So she could fully just live in Algeria. There wouldn't be any issues. My thinking was she should go to live in France because they'll be a little more open-minded, you know? I mean, it depends what part of France you go to. I'm sure there's some parts of France that you might go to that are even probably more extreme than parts of Algeria, for all I know, culturally, religiously. But again, I think if she just wears a niqab for the rest of her life, covers up, then that might be the move for her going forward. Honest to God, that would be a very respectable move. She needs to do one of two things now. She goes full Islamic fundamentalist for the rest of her life, or she moves to the States and starts boxing on, you know, like DAZN, like fucking undercards, and just continues beating the shit out of, you know, women. Yeah. She could just lean into it forever. It would almost be funnier if she said, it would be funny. Like, listen, even if she was a woman, it would just be funny if after, like, every time she beat a woman, she would just go, suck my dick. She could not have a dick, you know? She could legitimately have no penis, no testicles. But it would be funny if she knows she's a woman, okay? She could literally run tests to prove she's a woman. But every time she fucking beats a lady up, she should go, suck my dick. She should just, every time she wins a fight, she just puts on a strap on in the ring and just does the helicopter. Go suck my dick. Okay. I made myself laugh this week. That was nice. It's good to be back. We'll have an episode coming out on the weekend as well, a bonus episode to make up for the fact we had no episode last week. If you're so inclined, please subscribe. And if you're listening on audio, just like leave a 5-star rating on the page on Spotify or Apple. It all helps us. Subscribe there so that you could see whenever episodes release. And if you made it to the end, I'm going to ask that you share this with one person. Share this with one person because it's free. It's free and we're on time most of the time. Okay? So, much love to you. Suck my dick. How infuriating. Imagine you get beat up for 5 rounds and then you just fucking, you get knocked out, you open your eyes and there's just some chick that looks like an Arab teenager just shaking around a pink dildo in the middle of the ring while everyone boos. And throws tomatoes at her, and you just get hit with a tomato again. As you're getting up, as you're getting sat on the stool, you just, boom, get pelted with a tomato, fall back down. Anyway, all right. We'll catch you soon. Till next time. Alla prossima. Ciao.